Disney is in that phase of the relationship where they've ignored you for years, insulted you repeatedly, and now they're showing up at your door with flowers, chocolates, and a 3-hour movie about tall blue aliens riding dragons through napalm. On December 19th, 2025, Avatar Fire and Ash hits theaters. And according to Disney's favorite cheerleaders, this is the crown jewel of an ambitious lineup that's totally, definitely, absolutely going to win fans back. Meanwhile, James Cameron is out here basically saying if this movie doesn't make 2 metric F tons of money, you can fill in that blank, he might just walk away from the franchise and go write a book. So, yeah, no pressure, right? Welcome back to The Critical Nerd, where we talk box office, broken franchises, and the slow, painful midlife crisis of Hollywood studios that just discovered audiences hate being lectured. If you're new here, hi, I'm Chris, The Critical Nerd. And if you're returning, you already know the drill. Disney's had one of the ugliest theatrical years in its modern history. We're talking a record-breaking flop parade. Snow White got memed into oblivion. Captain America Brave New World showed up, shrugged, and left. Thunderbolts fizzled. Fantastic Four First Steps tripped over its own title and face planted on the starting line. Elio made history for all the wrong reasons. And Tron Ares dropped and disappeared like a straight-to-streaming movie someone accidentally released in theaters. And that's all happening in a year where the overall box office is in the toilet. Now, it all comes down to this. Can Avatar, Fire and Ash actually save Disney's 2025? Or is this just the world's most expensive Band-Aid on a bullet wound? Here's what we're getting into today. How much pressure is on Avatar 3 after Disney's disaster year? Why Disney-friendly outlets are hyping Bob Iger's Please Love Us Again slate? How Warner Brothers muscled ahead in the box office race with its 2025 lineup? And the big question, are people actually still hyped for Pandora? Or has the novelty burned off like an Ash person without sunscreen? Real quick before we jump in, if you like someone actually telling you what the numbers mean without the corporate PR filter, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, ring that notification bell, and share this with one friend still pretending Marvel is just fine, actually. So, all right, let's talk about the year Disney would love you to forget. So, for context, even Disney-friendly sites have had to admit that 2025 has been rough. That alone tells you just how bad it is. You know it's ugly when the cheer squad starts clearing its throat. I mean, we've had Snow White, the Rachel Zegler musical that turned fairest of them all into lowest grosses of them all. Captain America Brave New World, which should have ridden the high of Deadpool and Wolverine and instead limped to, well, we tried. Thunderbolts, which was supposed to be Marvel's edgy team-up and ended up feeling like deleted scenes glued together. Fantastic Four First Steps, Disney finally got the first family back together and then used them as crash test dummies for yet another mid-Marvel experiment. Elio, Pixar's Hold My Beer moment when it came to worst openings. And Tron Ares somehow managed to vanish from the cultural conversation faster than half the shows on Disney+. And that's on top of a box office environment where 2025 is trending toward one of the lowest grossing years in recent history. So when the Disney blogs go, don't worry, the upcoming slate is ambitious and might finally win fans back, what they really mean is, please ignore the smoking crater behind us and look at the shiny Navi. So let's talk about the blue elephant in the room. Yeah, Avatar, Fire and Ash. The third film in James Cameron's What If Fern Gully Had $400 Million budget saga, which hits theaters December 19th, 2025. Actually, it's just in next week. We're back with Jake and, I'm going to mispronounce this, so flame me in the comments, Nitiri. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. They're surviving Sully kids, still dealing with the fallout of Netanyahu's death from Way of the Water. And the humans who simply will not take the galaxy's most obvious hit and leave the planet alone. The big new wrinkle in all this? We meet the Ash people, a fire-based, war-hardened Na'vi clan led by Varang. These are not your peaceful tree-hugging forest or reef Na'vi. These are the we've seen some things and we burn stuff for fun Na'vi. Cameron's whole pitch this time is, not all Na'vi are good, not all humans are bad, it's all morally gray. So basically, the Ash people are the Na'vi equivalent of Twitter film critics. Constantly angry, live in a cloud of smoke, believe every other tribe is the problem. Early chatter is exactly what you'd expect from an Avatar sequel. Visually breathtaking, emotionally powerful, a true big screen event, with the side of, hey, this thing is starting to feel a little repetitive, isn't it? Of course it's repetitive, it's Avatar. The plot is colonialism is bad, and stop hurting the whales, trees, space, fish on shuffle. People don't go to these movies for really intricate political thrillers. They go because it looks insane. The 3D actually works, and Cameron is the last guy in Hollywood still making movies like it's 2009 in the best possible way. But here's the thing. This movie is long. We're talking another 3-hour plus runtime. Your bladder will see things it could never forget. The real question isn't, is it good? It's, do people still care enough to leave the couch for Pandora? Now, we need to talk about pressure, because there's a lot of pressure on this film. James Cameron has basically admitted if Fire and Ash flops, he's ready to walk away from the franchise and go do literally anything else with his life. He also joked about needing, and I quote in spirit, 2 metric fuck tons of money for this thing to be worth it. Let me translate this for you for those of you in the back. This movie is insanely expensive. Yeah. Years of R&D on underwater and fire-based VFX. Performance capture pipelines that cost more than some countries' GDP. A marketing campaign that's going to be absolutely everywhere. And Disney needing not just profit, but a win. Something they can point to and say, see, we're still the kings. Box office projections right now have Fire and Ash opening huge domestically, comfortably over the $100 million mark. Now, in a normal year, that's great. In this year, 2025, with audiences weird, exhausted, and broke, that's a miracle. But remember, Avatar in 2009 and Way of the Water both ended up in the you can buy an island with this territory. The 2025 box office overall is struggling. So if Fire and Ash only does, say, $1 billion, that's technically a monster hit, but not the kind of, oh my God, they did it again, win that Disney is banking on. For James Cameron, the stakes are, does he get to finish the saga with Avatar 4 and 5 as massive theatrical epics? Or does this become one of those, we have plans but situations? And for Disney, the stakes are, can they still sell you 1 or 2 massive event films a year that feel worth leaving the house for? Or are they just now a logo at the front of projects people half watch on streaming? Now, we have to talk about Disney versus Warner in 2025, because this is important. Disney, for years, has taken the crown. So let's analyze this a little bit. Let's pull back the curtain and look at the studio war. Early in the year, sites like thatparkplace.com were already talking about Warner Brothers Discovery taking the 2025 box office throne away from Disney. And not just by accident. Warner actually showed up with the lineup. While Disney was busy throwing darts at the wall, Warner was stacking the calendar with Alto Knights, which hit theaters way back in March 21st, 2025, giving them an early year gangster prestige play. The Conjuring Last Rites dropping on September 5th, another entry into a horror franchise that, unlike a lot of Disney IP, still has a pulse. One battle after another, a big awards-leaning war drama that released on September 26th, immediately jumping into the Oscar conversation while adding to Warner's yearly haul. I have to mention Superman in there, James Gunn's Superman, or Superman's James Gunn. That also had a thing or two to do with Warner's take this year. These movies aren't future ammo. They're already part of the scorecard that helped put Warner ahead of Disney for 2025. Oh yeah, I forgot one other one, Sinners. If you haven't checked out Sinners, check it out. Just saying. And then you've got the rest of their slate. Superhero plays, gaming adaptations, horror, awards bait, all spread throughout the year. Meanwhile, Disney is leaning on Zootopia 2 and now Avatar 3 like they're the two last legs of a very wobbly table. And just to be clear, Mortal Kombat 2 isn't even a part of this year's war. That one's currently set for May 8th, 2026, so if you're thinking, oh, Warner still has Mortal Kombat up its sleeve for Q4, nope, that's a next year problem. So the picture looks like this. Warner Brothers spent 2025 steadily stacking solid performers like Alto Knights, The Conjuring, Last Rites, One Battle After Another, Superman. I believe F1 was part of their package this year too. And I think Minecraft was also. Plus their other tentpoles. Disney stumbled through a minefield of flops and underperformers and is now basically yelling, Zootopia, hold the line. Avatar, charge. This is the year-end fight. Not who has the better slate overall. That ship sailed months ago. Literally, it's can Disney's late game push with Zootopia 2 and Avatar Fire and Ash make the final numbers not look completely embarrassing next to Warner Brothers? Now, I gotta dive into this whole Avatar thing because this begs the question. Are we actually still hyped for Pandora? I mean, that's the question that nobody at Disney wants to ask out loud. Is Avatar still a cultural event? Or just a pretty screensaver with a great theme park ride? On paper, the answer should be yes. Avatar is still huge. Avatar and Way of the Water are two of the highest grossing films of all time. Way of the Water proved in 2022 that audiences will show up for Pandora in insane numbers if you give them a true theatrical spectacle. The footage from Fire and Ash looks incredible. The Ash people, the fire imagery, the scale of the battles, it all screams you need to see this in the theater. Cameron has done the playbook exactly right. Re-releases, event-style marketing, emphasizing that this is handcrafted, cutting-edge visual effects, not AI sludge. But culturally? Avatar doesn't behave like Marvel or Star Wars or even the Conjuring universe. Between releases, nobody's quoting dialogue. You don't see kids running around dressed as specific Avatar characters. And the memes are all just, I don't remember anybody's name, and it still made $2 billion. Cameron has basically created the world's most expensive you had to be there experience. It prints money. But it doesn't live in people's heads the same way other franchises do, and that's the gamble. Disney's betting that in a year where people are exhausted with MCU homework, Star Wars is stuck in streaming purgatory, and the overall box office is shaky as hell, audience will still say, yeah, I will absolutely sit in the theater for 3 hours and 15 minutes to watch blue people versus fire people in 3D. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. We are now officially in the last bullet era of Hollywood. Every studio has one or two franchises left they know will still drag people into theaters. Or at least they hope they will. Disney has Avatar and maybe one more serious shot with the big Avengers-style Marvel event. Warner Brothers has Gunn's Superman, its horror universes, and these prestige plays like One Battle After Another that keep them relevant with awards and adults. Universal has Jurassic Park or Jurassic World and Wicked if it doesn't crash into a mountain of green glitter. Paramount has Mission Impossible as long as Tom Cruise's knees hold out. So when Bob Iger rolls out a slate and pushes Avatar Fire and Ash as the big capstone to an ambitious lineup that will win fans back, what he's really saying is, we're running out of ammo. Please, please, for the love of our stock price, show up for this one. If Avatar 3 hits, Disney gets to point to the box office scoreboard and say, see, we're still in the game. Cameron gets to finish the saga with 4 and 5 fully funded, fully theatrical. If it underperforms, The franchise might stop at 3. Disney is left with the 2025 filled with the high-profile embarrassments in one movie that did pretty well, instead of save the day. And the narrative becomes, even Avatar couldn't save you. So here's my take on all this. Avatar, Fire and Ash might save Disney's year on paper. It might help them close the gap with Warner Brothers. It might make the balance sheet look a little less like a horror movie. And it'll definitely give Bob Iger something dramatic to point at on an investor call. But it's not going to fix the core problem. Disney doesn't have a relationship with its audience anymore. It has a transaction. Avatar works because James Cameron still respects the idea of a movie theater being the place where you go to see something you literally cannot get at home. No AI storyboards, and no, we'll flesh this out in a Disney Plus series later. No half-baked reshoots slapped together in post. Just pure obsessive filmmaking. That's what people respond to. So yeah, Avatar 3 might be Disney's last bullet for 2025. The question is, though, are they going to learn anything from firing it? Are we going to be right back here in a couple years talking about Avatar 4, Fire Harder, trying to bail out another year of corporate nonsense? Let me know in the comments below. Are you actually hyped for Fire and Ash? Do you think Avatar still has juice? Or are you over Pandora? And who do you think wins this year, Disney or Warner Brothers? If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and share this video with a friend who still thinks Snow White was just misunderstood. I'm the Critical Nerd. Thanks for watching, and remember, Hollywood might be out of bullets, but we're just getting started. Later.